Okay, let's make the comparative study between simple permanent tissues. They are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Okay, parenchyma. So the term parenchyma is given by the scientist Group, and the term collenchyma is given by the scientist Skleden, and the term sclerenchyma is given by the scientist Martinus. Now coming to whether they are made of living cells or dead cells. So parenchyma, the parenchymatous tissue consists of living cells, whereas collenchymatous tissue is also made of living cells, whereas sclerenchymatous tissue consists of dead cells at maturity. Next, coming to whether they are thick-walled or thin-walled. The cells of this parenchyma are thin-walled, and the cell wall, this thin wall, is made of cellulose. Next, coming to collenchyma. The collenchymatous cells are thick-walled, and these thick-walled cells are made of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So the composition of this cell wall of collenchymatous cells is cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So due to the presence of this pectin, the cell walls of collenchyma, these collenchymatous cells are elastic in nature. So it provides elasticity to the collenchymatous tissue. And these cell walls, the walls of these cells are thick-walled, but these thickenings are non-uniform thickenings. That means the thickenings are not uniform throughout the surface of the cell. These thickenings are present generally at the corners of the cell walls, and hence these thickenings are non-uniform thickenings. Next, coming to sclerenchyma. In sclerenchyma, again, the cells are thick-walled, and these thick-walled cells are generally made of lignin. And here the thickenings are uniform thickenings. Right? Okay, next coming to whether these cells are with intercellular spaces or not. So here intercellular spaces are present. I am writing it as ICS. Intercellular spaces are present in case of parenchymatous tissue generally, and here intercellular spaces are absent, and here also in sclerenchyma also intercellular spaces are absent. Next, coming to parenchymatous tissue. So in parenchymatous tissue, chloroplasts are present or not. So in parenchymatous tissue, chloroplasts are generally present. They may be present or absent, but generally chloroplasts are present. In case of collenchyma also, chloroplasts are present generally, but in case of sclerenchymatous tissue, chloroplasts are absent. Next, coming to regaining capacity of cell division. So regaining capacity of cell division is present in parenchymatous tissue. Regaining the capacity of cell division, capacity to divide, to undergo cell division, is present in case of parenchymatous tissue. In case of collenchymatous tissue, it is absent, and even in case of sclerenchymatous tissue, it is absent. So if the regaining capacity of the cell division is present, what happens? These primary permanent tissues, that is simple permanent tissues, can regain the capacity of cell division and get de-differentiated into secondary meristem. So what can we say now? Secondary meristems can be formed by the process of de-differentiation from the primary permanent tissue, that is parenchymatous tissue, but not from collenchyma or sclerenchyma. Right. Okay. Now coming to refractive index. So in case of parenchymatous tissue, refractive index is low. Refractive index is low because of the absence of pectin, and in case of, it is low. In case of collenchymatous tissue, this refractive index is high, and hence they become shiny. Collenchymatous tissue gives shiny appearance to the plant organs. Next, coming to sclerenchymatous tissue. In case of sclerenchymatous tissue also, refractive index is low. Okay, now let's study the location of these tissues where they are present. Location of these tissues where they are present. Okay, location. So generally this parenchymatous tissue is present everywhere in the plant organs, like it is present towards the peripheral side in the form of epidermis, and it is even in median in position in the form of cortex, and it is present at the center also in the form of pith. That means this parenchymatous tissue can be present peripherally and at the center, and even it can be median in position, and hence this parenchymatous tissue is the most abundant tissue of plant organs, and hence it is also called as fundamental tissue. So parenchymatous tissue is the most abundant tissue in plant organs, which can be present peripherally. The position of this parenchymatous tissue is peripheral, which can be peripheral in position. I am writing peripheral as PER. Okay, next it can be median in position, and even it can be center. It can be present at the center, central in position. Central in position in the form of pith, median in position in the form of cortex, and peripheral in position in the form of epidermis. So it is also called as fundamental tissue, as it is the most abundant tissue in plant organs. This parenchyma is also called as fundamental tissue. Fundamental tissue. Next, coming to collenchyma. So this collenchyma is generally peripheral in position. Peripheral in position. Okay, let's see where this collenchyma is present. Parenchyma is present in all plant organs, in monocots, dicots. In monocot stem, leaves and roots also this parenchymatous tissue is present, and even in dicot stem, root and leaves also this parenchymatous tissue is present. Now let's see where this collenchyma is present. Okay, this collenchyma is completely absent in monocots. It is completely absent. In case of dicots, here monocots. In case of dicots, this collenchyma is absent in roots of dicots. It is completely absent in the roots of dicots, and it is present in dicot stem in the form of hypodermis. Where it is present? In the form of hypodermis. Hypodermis means almost peripheral in position. So it is present in the form of hypodermis. In case of dicot leaves also it is present. Where it is present? In the petioles of leaves. In the petioles. It is present in the petioles of leaves. Right. So this is about collenchymatous tissue. Next, coming to sclerenchymatous tissue, where it is present. So the sclerenchymatous tissue is present in the organs or in the cells which have completed their elongation, which have got matured completely. So sclerenchymatous tissue is present in mature plant organs. Mature plant organs, especially in complex tissues, that is in xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. Okay, so this is about the position or location of there is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now coming to shape of these cells. There is the cells present in parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Shape. So the shape of the cells present in parenchyma can be, you remember, SOPE. That means S is spherical. I am not writing, you just note down. S is spherical, O is oval, P is polygonal, E is elongated. So the cells of parenchymatous tissue can be spherical, oval or polygonal or elongated, and generally they are isodiametric. Generally, mostly they are isodiametric in shape. Isodiametric means they are similar at all the sides of the cell. So isodiametric in shape. Next, coming to the shape of collenchyma. Shape of collenchyma. So collenchymatous cells can be, you remember, S-O-P, no E. So they can be spherical, oval or polygonal. Next, coming to sclerenchyma. So sclerenchymatous tissue consists of cells with different shapes. This we will study when we are studying about different types of sclerenchyma in detail. So these are with different shapes of cells. Okay, next coming to function of all these tissues. What is the function? Function of all these parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So actually this parenchyma tissue, generally it consists of chloroplast and hence it is involved in synthesis of food, that is photosynthesis, performing photosynthesis. So function is food synthesis, synthesis of food and even storage of food, food storage and secretion. These are the functions of parenchymatous tissue. Next, coming to collenchyma. So collenchyma also consists of this chloroplast and hence it is also involved in food synthesis and storage. Food synthesis and storage. Along with these functions, it is having another special function called to provide mechanical support. To provide mechanical support, I'll explain how it is involved in providing mechanical support to the plant organs, young plant organs. Okay. So this collenchymatous tissue, generally it provides mechanical support to the young stems, because in young dicot stem it is present in hypodermis. Okay. So it provides mechanical support to the young stems and even to the leaves, and it protects these young stems and leaves from the damage caused by high wind velocity. When the wind is coming with higher velocity, what happens? These leaves may tear and even the young stem may break. But here, as this collenchymatous tissue is giving elasticity, as it is elastic in nature, we studied that as it consists of, collenchyma consists of pectin, it is elastic in nature. Due to this elastic nature, it gives flexibility to the plant organs like stem, dicot stem, young stem and even petioles of the leaves are elastic, flexible in nature. Due to this flexibility, they can be protected from the damage caused by high wind velocity and hence leaves will not tear due to high wind velocity and even young stems will not break. So in this way, collenchymatous tissue is involved in providing mechanical support. And here one more point I want to tell you. So this collenchymatous tissue is living mechanical tissue. Living mechanical tissue. That means it is living, it is made of living cells. Next, coming to sclerenchymatous tissue. Sclerenchymatous tissue is also involved in providing mechanical support. It is a strong, it gives strong mechanical support, mechanical strength. So it is also providing mechanical support, but here what type of tissue it is? Dead mechanical tissue. Mechanical support, and it is dead mechanical tissue. And one more thing, it is chief mechanical tissue. Here both of these simple permanent tissues, that is collenchyma is also providing mechanical support and even sclerenchyma is also providing mechanical support. Among both of these tissues, chief mechanical tissue, which is dead mechanical tissue, is sclerenchyma, whereas living mechanical tissue is collenchyma. So this is all about different types of simple permanent tissues. Now I will be explaining about different types of parenchymatous tissues, different types of parenchyma.